Welcome to APDesign Digital Tools. In this video we're going to be looking at Rhino. I'm going to introduce Rhino to you. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to open up a new file. So you'll see that you have quite a few options of what you want to open. So you can choose kind of what units you want to work in. How big is the object? So is it small, like a piece of furniture, or is it large as in the building? And it's really up to you. If you choose inches, any units you put in are going to be relative to inches, feet, so forth. Same with all the rest. So we'll just open up large feet, I guess. And it should look something like this. Your layers are over here. You also have a few other possibilities. Some of them may be different than on my screen than they are on yours, because I've used this tab over here, the gear shift, to click on a few other things. So I'll just turn off a few things that I know perhaps you're not using. Okay. So you have layers. If you've used any kind of program, you'll know what layers are. Essentially, it's whatever you draw has to go on a layer. And that layer will have various properties, such as what color it shows up on the screen, what line type, if it happens to be line work, what line type, so is it dashed or continuous and stuff like that. What print color it's going to be. So that can be different than the display color. So that's something I'll get into on another video. Alright, the other thing you see is that you have these 4 viewports, and each one's labeled top, perspective, front, right. Alright, these are analogous to what view you're looking at that moment. So top is top view, so top down. I'm looking down from the top. Front is the same thing, only now it's oriented so that I'm looking at the front, right perspective. Just to kind of clarify that, I'm going to create a box on the perspective view, and I'll give it some kind of proportions like that. So in the top view, looking down, front view, I'm looking at kind of that side. The right view, I'm looking more than likely at that side. Okay, that should make sense. Now the key to these viewports are that when you're drawing inside that viewport, everything's relative to X and Y for that viewport. So this is the X, the red, the green is the Y. So when I draw a line, I'm drawing in the Y relative to the top. So you can see down here on the front is that I'm not ever going up. Now if I was to want to draw a line going up, I could go click on the front viewport and I could click somewhere, and I would then suddenly be drawing up, right, left, or down. So it really is important to understand kind of which viewport you're in, so you know how you're going to build something. Alright, the perspective mode is always oriented according to the top view, so you're always kind of, your X and Y are on the horizon, on the ground plane. Alright, you also should see a grid. You can turn that grid on or off. I usually turn mine off, but I'll leave it on for these videos because that's the way you're seeing it. But to turn it on and off, you just type in grid, and you can go in and say show grid yes, show grid no. You can turn it on and off. And sometimes it gets in the way, but sometimes it's kind of nice to know kind of where that ground plane is. Alright, other things. So we've done this, we've done that. Other pieces to the puzzle are you have a bunch of various icons here that you can build from. Most of them have a little triangle in the bottom right corner. Those triangles can be expanded if you click on them, and there's a lot of options within each of these icons. So you'll want to explore these as you get to know Rhino, and there's a huge amount of information and tools that you have at your disposal right here. And I'll be clicking on some of them. A lot of the times I use just the command line to do something. But then also up here you have your ribbon. And in the ribbon, a couple of them look kind of familiar. File, edit, view. But then you have geometry. Curve, which is any kind of two-dimensional geometry. You have surface, again that's surfaces. You have solids, so that's three-dimensional forms. And mesh, which is basically a triangulated surface that you'll use when you're trying to do some visualizations, and it's a little bit less video card intensive to use meshes. And then you have some other ribbons such as dimensioning. You probably won't use that right off the bat. But then there's transform. So this is the other kind of ribbon that's really important. So it's all your move, copy, rotate, all your Euclidean geometry transformations. Scale, mirror, all of that's here. And then I have some other things that we won't be using right off the bat. Tools, analyze, render. We won't be using those a lot. Alright, other things on the viewport. You might notice that I created this three-dimensional box, and it's kind of a wireframe. You can see right through it. It's as if I just did this out of wire. You can change that by just clicking on this triangle, and then that turns things to shaded or rendered. Shaded, I'll go into some other kind of visualizations and show you how to kind of, yours probably doesn't look like mine. It probably looks actually dramatically different. I've set up a custom shade, and I'll get into that on another video. Alright, I think I'm going to leave it like that. So this is your introduction. Look forward to the other videos.